Okay, welcome everyone to Zoom to Miracles with Shannon and Cate, Cate and Shannon. Equals in God's love, equal as brothers. We're all equal. We're all equal brothers. No one's ahead of anyone else. We're asked not to put anyone on a pedestal. We're asked not to be in awe of anyone here. We're asked to have gratitude that they might shine a light and be a few steps ahead of us. But just knowing that we can get there, right? It's very important not to put any spiritual teacher on a pedestal, that they're somehow different to something you could be or are right now. So that's always Shannon and my message. It's important. You will sabotage your advances, and he's asking us to make these giant strides, and he says in the course not to do that, not to have awe for any of the teachers. And I've seen it happen and seen how people get stuck in that. So it's always a good reminder, isn't it? So one thing you can know about spiritual teachers is that they can demonstrate the certainty of that this spiritual path works, and that your mind can come to the peace of God. And they can also show you how they were extremely dedicated and willing and committed. And through that, you can increase your determination, your commitment and dedication. No one can do that for you. Only you can do that. And the reason why you will be motivated to increase your dedication is through basically pain, experiencing hell in your mind. Anything that's not of peace will motivate you. That's why we're motivated, right? That's what motivated me. I'm sure it motivates everyone. It just, oh my gosh, there has to be a better way. There's got to be a way out of this. What's the answer? Looking for the answer and finding the answer, and then saying, oh, this is all a bit too hard. I don't like this answer. I want an easier answer. So that's what Shannon and I come to represent. He says really just spiritual teachers are there just to help you in some way. My guidance was to offer certainty. That was all I could offer, certainty that this will work. And he says it in one of the lessons, literally everyone will reach the truth who seeks it, or something to that effect. And you will. It is certain. There is a certainty to it, no matter how much angst you're in, how much turmoil, how much darkness, how much the ego throws at you. There's no order of difficulty in miracles. One thought can be changed as another thought can. No thought is stronger than another. It feels stronger to us. It feels more fearful to us, but he annihilates that by saying it's still just a thought, and a thought can be changed. And he will help you. You do not do this journey alone. You do it with your inner guide. And your inner guide is there to help you. And this whole journey is getting to develop a trust with the inner guide, your right mind, that it will guide you. So one of the things I wanted to start off today, we're going to be going through lesson 108, to give and to receive a one in truth. He's got a part here where he says it's an advance, or not a giant step, but a great advance or something. But it's something that he's pointing out to us that is helpful. So we'll be going through that. Shannon will share a little bit about that. But before we do, I wanted to share that I've mentioned this, I think, once or twice in the recordings of the videos, but I felt him asking me to share it today, is the importance of extending God's love as a forgiveness tool. So we've got all our tools, we've got all our lessons, we've got, all the prayers, all the little things. I rest in God. We've got all the beautiful forgiveness lessons, forgiveness. Everything you do is forgiveness because it's right-minded, right? Anytime you repeat a lesson, it's a right-minded thought, it's forgiveness. It's shifting your mind in that moment. So that's it. We're shifting our mind to be more peaceful, to be more loving, to being more kind, to being more open. So everything is forgiveness. There's no one thing. But this particular tool of extending God's love is to feel God's love within you now. So let's just do this now for just a few minutes. Just see, excuse me. Just feel God's love within you now. Feel this inner light, this inner love. This light and love doesn't come from anywhere else except within you. So you can verify that this is within you. We don't seek for anything in the world. This is the Course in Miracles is about. Stop seeking outside yourself and come within. So we're just going to touch on that love, that inner light, and you might find it just feels like a warm glow within you, just a warmth, a really nice feeling. And now we're going to extend it out. We're going to feel it could be like a warm glow going from us to everyone and everything. You could see it as a light or a rainbow or just something if you need to have some sort of visual aspect to it. Or you could just feel it like a feeling going out, a feeling of love going out. And just feel it caressing all your brothers everywhere who are one with you. You can feel a oneness in God's love. And I won't make this too long because we want to get on to our lesson, but one of the things about this particular forgiveness tool is that, and it's in the miracle principles about extending God's love. This is a way to shift your perception. Okay, so if you are feeling, if the ego is projecting a meaning onto someone that you know, you can literally just sit still, feel God's love within you now, and feel that extended to them. And it will completely shift the whole dynamic of feeling fearful, of being worried about meeting this particular person. So someone I know had to do a concert. They were they were very good at a particular instrument, but they were extremely fearful about playing for an exam and then playing in front of a crowd. And I just guided this person to do this particular forgiveness practice where he just sat and extended love during, when he sat down to play the instrument. He just felt himself filled with God's love, looked out at the audience and just extended love to them. Just, I bless you, I give you love, or whatever you like. And that completely changed his mind, right? Because you can only have one thought at a time. So if you're in this, the ego is drowned out. You can't have ego thoughts, fear thoughts, or worry thoughts while you're doing this. So this is a very practical tool to use. So Shannon, would you like to talk about this lesson and what you're feeling and start us off? Thank you.
Thank you, Cate. Yeah, the blessing that you were talking about and just extending the love, that really is such a beautiful way to just connect into spirit and let all things ego fall away. Because remember, it's all or nothing. It's we're either in one or the other. There's no like partly in or partly out. So we're either in spirit and we're in that mind, or we're in the ego, fear, right? And so when we're in the ego, fear, as Cate mentioned, it's really important to ask him for help, because we can't convince ourselves of any of the things of the course when we're in fear. So that's where we have to lay down our arms and just let him come in for the answer, with the answer. He can shift our perception. We just need that little bit of willingness, the wanting the peace of God. And this lesson 108, is just so beautiful because, as Cate mentioned, it does go through an exercise of extending love to everyone. And then it also goes into, well, you can also do this to specific people. Um, but to everyone is kind of like, this lesson is all about unification, because to give and receive are one in truth. So, because everything is one in truth, right? And so like the answer to the separation is unification. And so it's just a beautiful way of just reminding ourselves. And when we practice this and we feel so, if I'm extending love to you and I'm feeling that come back in the same manner that I'm giving it to you, we start to realize that actually we hold the power in our hands. Like it's back into that cause and effect. My mind is the cause, the mind is the cause of everything. And so I can be in that place of love and extend it out, and nothing outside of me can affect me. But when I'm in ego, I'm looking from outside in. So it's either I'm going inside out or I'm going outside in. And I shared this, I think, a couple weeks ago too, but because Jesus took me through this whole thing and he just kept showing in my mind like a flip, like you've got to flip this around. Cate is always so clear with how we are projecting these ideas outside of us, right? We're putting it outside, but really we hold the power. So we can stay in this love, we can stay in this, the gentleness, the peace of mind, all these things that this lesson even addresses. And we can come from there and extend that out and give it as we're receiving it, because we don't know we have it until we give it. And that's really the whole point of this lesson. I just love this lesson. The first time I did this to everyone, I offer peace of mind, and the peace of mind I felt was so amazing. I was like, wow, like this is amazing. Like actually, if I give this, I get it. And then I realized, very quickly after that, that if I give attack, if I give judgment, if I give fear, if I give anything else, right? That's what I'm giving myself. That's what I'm feeling, right? And so I can just change it all by just coming into this moment and extending that love again, remembering actually I am as God created me, and so is everyone else. And so we can join in that and rejoice in that and bless each other and live in that love. And then there isn't anything else that can be there with that. So anyway, I love this lesson for that reason, because it's really is. I mean, it shows us the power that we hold. We can literally shift in one moment. We can shift from fear to love. That's the miracle. And we can do that just by changing our perspective. It's not that outside in. What's happening out there? Okay, yes, it's a dream. But when we're in fear, we don't realize that. But if we can come into love, just come into peace and share that, just extend that out, then we become that. That's what we become instead of the fear. And so it's a really beautiful shift that we can experience anytime, and really ultimately we step into that and we can just be that all the time with everyone. So anyway, Cate, did you want to start reading, or do you want me to? Or oh, okay. Okay. So lesson 108, let's get into it. To give and to receive are one in truth. This is on page 195 of the workbook. Vision depends upon today's idea. The light is in it, for it reconciles all seeming opposites. And what is light except the resolution, born of peace, of all your conflicts and mistaken thoughts into one concept which is wholly true? Even that one will disappear, because the thought behind it will appear instead to take its place. And now you are at peace forever, for the dream is over then. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. So I just wanted to say a few things about that first paragraph. So vision depends on today's idea. So today's idea is to give and receive a one in truth. So to give and receive, like Shannon said, as she started giving, and that's the same as me, you know, once you start doing this and you start realizing that you're getting everything you extend or project, then you make very sure that you want to be doing the extending and not the projecting. And he says here that vision depends on it. So this is a really important thing. So you might say that the Christ blessing that he gave me was pretty much this giving and feeling that receiving. So every time I saw anyone as that pure Christ self, I was experiencing more of my pure Christ self. That's why you want to do this on everyone. That's why you want to make no exceptions, because vision depends upon it. Vision is the vision that God is in everything I see, that you're feeling yourself in God, joined in God. And that's why he says that even this particular practice will disappear. So this is a practice that we're going to go through at the end of this session, at the end of the lesson. And he's telling us to take this very seriously, that he wants us to do it and that vision depends upon it. But the practice will disappear because you don't need to do it when you know everyone is Christ. That's knowledge. You know that people aren't bodies, they're Christ. You know that everything is God. There's knowledge, there's certainty in that. And so there's no need to do the practice anymore. That's what he's really saying here. The thought behind it will disappear. The thought behind it will appear instead. In other words, the thought, the capital T, is God. The idea of God, the infinite love of God will appear in your mind. So true light that makes true vision possible is not the light the body's eyes behold. So this light is not anything our eyes can see. It's actually spiritual light. It is a state of mind. Sorry. It's a state of mind. In other words, it's an experience in our mind that has become so unified, and Shannon was sharing about this unification. In other words, we don't want to hold one single brother, one image in this world away from this extension of God's love, of offering God's love, of offering peace. We do not want to, because what we do, if we hold one brother apart from God's love, of the extension of this love, in this practice, we hold a part of us away from God. We hold a part of our mind, and and that stops us from awakening, right? Awakening is simply making no exceptions to this, having no exceptions. So it's a state of mind that has become so unified that darkness cannot be perceived at all. In other words, the ego is not in your mind. And the ego is basically the darkness, which is the ego's thoughts of guilt, sin, separation, fear. And thus, what is the same is seen as one. So everything will be seen as God, divine. Everything is divine. It actually is divine right now. We just can't experience that, but it is. I'm experiencing everything as divine. Everything is holy. Everything is beautiful and pure. And thus, what is the same is seen as one. It has to be one. Because if everything is God, everything is divine, it's one. It's not a tree and a house and some grass. It's just all the divine. It's literally seen as divine light, divine love. And that's vision. So this is why to give and receive, that idea to give and receive is vision depends upon it. So, and thus what is the same is seen as one, while what is not the same remains unnoticed, for it is not there. In other words, the ego is not in our mind. That's why the mind is quiet. There you go. My hand's up. All right. Well, Shannon, you can speak now.
I just lowered your hand for you. Uh, anyway, yeah, so I just love how he's so clear in this paragraph about what light is. Obviously, he talks about how we can see light episodes and things like that in the course as well. But ultimately, light is that clear mind. It's like that clear state of mind where we just don't allow, we protect the truth. So it's about protecting the truth instead of, battling with the ego, right? So I just love how he puts that. It's really a beautiful way to understand it. I think it's really clear. So paragraph 3, this is the light that shows no opposites. And vision, being healed, has power to heal. This is the light that brings your peace of mind to other minds, to share it and be glad that they are one with you and with themselves. This is the light that heals because it brings single perception based upon one frame of reference from which one meaning comes. And that's just expanding on that same idea of just, no opposites. I mean, when you think about it in the world, giving and receiving are opposites, right? And he's telling us they're one in truth. And so this is where we really have to invite him in to show us these ideas, because we can't learn them with the ego. We've got to allow him to kind of pull us into this place where he can show us exactly what it is, what he's talking about. But when he says here, this is the light that brings your peace of mind to other minds, that's the natural order of things, because there is only one mind. And so it's the more peace that's brought in by the different seeming fragments of the mind, the more we all share in that and join in that, the more it's carried out. It's shared with all. And that's how the unification through peace can happen. Cate.
There are both giving and receiving seen as different aspects of one thought, whose truth does not depend on which is seen as first, nor which appears to be in second place. So, in other words, that giving and receiving, as we give and extend God's love, we receive it. There's no first thing and second thing. It's always happening. Here it is understood that both occur together. Oh, there you go. He just said it. That the thought remains complete. In other words, because that capital T on thought, it's other words, God's extension of love, God's beautiful love, the thought, which is God, love, infinite love, omnipresent love. And that as you give it, as you give that beautiful gentleness and that peace, you get filled up and your brother gets the miracle, right? So if you're in this group right now or listening to this back on YouTube or somewhere else, it's literally like you can experience the peace of God just through the knowing that Shannon and I, our minds are peaceful. You can kind of sink into it with the knowledge of that spiritual teachers do have an extremely peaceful mind. And you can just, it's like something is kind of joined with it in the moment and it can be experienced. And that's really what he was saying up there about, this is the light that brings your peace of mind to other minds. So I don't know, maybe you've been with somebody and they've been really peaceful and you've come away feeling much more peaceful than you were before. And that's what happens, it transfers. So he's asking us to do this particular lesson, this particular practice until our mind becomes quiet. And then it's actually you offering it through the actual experience, but then the experience shifts into being your experience, the peace of God, and then that just transfers through you. And just other minds pick it up just through being in your presence. So it all works together. It's just really beautiful. So and in this understanding is the base of what all opposites, on which all opposites are reconciled, because they are perceived from the same frame of references, the same frame of reference, which unifies this thought. So all the opposites are reconciled. In other words, they're kind of just deleted away. All opposites. Okay, thanks, Shannon.
Thank you, Cate. One thought, completely unified, will serve to unify all thought. This is the same as saying one correction will suffice for all correction, or that to forgive one brother wholly is enough to bring salvation to all minds. For these are but some special cases of one law, which holds for every kind of learning, if it be directed by the one who knows the truth. That's beautiful.
I can really relate to where he says, and to forgive one brother wholly is enough to bring salvation to all minds. So he says, I think somewhere else in the course, that we only really have to forgive one brother, just one brother completely. In other words, just completely see the infinite pure beingness of the Christ within them. It doesn't have to be anyone in particular, but I focused on my dad in this dream because the dream seemed very real through the ego mind that this character was the one to blame for all, felt attacked. Feels extremely weird talking about it now because it's just so not seen as just so not true. And just that whole thing was all made up, right? But at the time, it felt very real. So I focused on just one character in the dream that the ego was projecting onto, and just kept focusing on seeing his holy self. So he just says that it's basically also another way of saying is that it generalizes across everyone. So you only have to see one character purely, and that's sometimes why I've heard of stories about people going to India, looking at the guru, feeling that purity, seeing that purity in the guru, and their mind's healed and they have an instant healing, right? And then it generalizes across to everyone. They just see the purity of everyone. So it can happen in many ways. And like Shannon said, you have your inner guide and he will guide you how to do this. You don't have to figure it out. If you surrender yourself to his guidance and keep asking, help me to unify this. I really, really want the peace of God. So, help me and work with me in my way. We all do it a little differently, but it's all kind of exactly the same thing. To learn that giving and receiving are the same has special usefulness because it can be tried so easily and seen as true. So this is the key line, one of the key lines to this lesson. Okay, I'm going to read that again. So you really take this in. To learn that giving and receiving are the same has special usefulness because it can be tried so easily and seen as true. So, as Shannon said, the minute she extended something, she realised, oh, wow, I'm actually feeling this peace, as I'm offering peace, I'm feeling it. So, we really want you, I know we've done this lesson a couple of times in the group without recording it, but let's go, through it again and really notice this is what he wants us to do. He wants to notice how useful this particular practice is, because you might be going through the lessons and repeating the lessons and not kind of feeling like, wow, I repeated it all day long and I didn't feel any shift. Now that's quite normal because you're getting in you're actually, what you're doing is you're adding those thoughts, those right-minded thoughts, you're kind of putting them in the bank and you're like banking those thoughts every day. And initially your mind will just be full of true thoughts, right? But at the start, when you start, you've got all those ego thoughts, beliefs in your mind, and you've only just got a few sprinkles of true thoughts. So repeating the lessons, he says not to think you understand them, that eventually will bring an experience. So we just keep doing it because he says, don't try to understand lessons. Don't look back and say, I didn't get anything out of it. But what he's saying in this particular lesson is you can actually practice it and really see, because it can be tried so easily and seen as true, and you will validate that this actually works. Like it literally brings you straight away. You get the experience that you're giving. And when this special case has been proved, it always works in every circumstance where it is tried. The thought behind it can be generalized to other areas of doubt and double vision. In other words, the Holy Spirit or Jesus will actually take it and use those ideas in other areas that you're doubting. And double vision just means, that you're just seeing something outside you as affecting you. And from there, it will extend and finally arrive at the one thought which underlies them all, which is oneness, that you're one with God, the oneness. So that's the final thought. Okay, Shannon?
Thank you, Cate. Yeah, the generalization that he's talking about here too, where he says in every circumstance where it is tried, the thought behind it can be generalized to other areas of doubt and double vision. Um, like sometimes it might really feel like Cate was saying, like you're just, it's like the peace isn't coming into the mind, and there's all of these like disruptions and doubt and uncertainty. But the generalization is happening even if, and he says very clearly in the course that like you don't even know your greatest retreats and your greatest advances. You can't tell the difference between them. So it's really important for us to just kind of step into this place of like, I'm just going to give this a try and know that everything is happening exactly how I need it to. So it's there for me to learn. I can actually forgive this, and this is actually my miracle. This is my miracle opportunity. And if we start to see everything as a miracle opportunity instead of a problem, or seeing it like thinking it, resisting it, this shouldn't be happening. I don't want this, whatever. If we start, just drop all of those, because those are just ego judgments, and just say, you know what? This is my miracle opportunity. I'm going to stop all resistance, all ideas that things should change, all ideas that it shouldn't be happening. And I'm going to extend God's love. I'm going to choose God's love over all these other ideas. It's always our miracle opportunity, every single thing. Okay, so paragraph 7. Today we practice with the special case of giving and receiving. We will use this simple lesson in the obvious because it has results we cannot miss. To give is to receive. Today, we will attempt to offer peace to everyone and see how quickly peace returns to us. Light is tranquility, and in that peace is vision given us, and we can see. And when he says light is tranquility, remember he said in the beginning that light is the state of mind. So it's a state of mind. So we're looking for the tranquility. We want the peace. We're choosing that. And we practice with this little simple lesson. I love it. Cate?
Yeah. I was just feeling to also share this, like you can use this little meditation that we're going to go through in giving and receiving, but you can say, for example, you're upset about the weather, or you're upset about, you think somebody said something that they shouldn't have said, right? Or just that, just anything, any type of egoic thought, right? You can simply apply this. You don't have to say, oh, I'm not feeling upset with a particular person, so I won't use this. Say, he's saying to use it for anything, anything. Just you can just easily, no matter what you're upset about, just go back to this and offer peace, offer gentleness, and you can get the experience. And the more you do it, the more your mind becomes unified with the thought, a capital T thought, God. It comes unified because we've got to realize that creating is extending love, kindness, peace. That's all God does. He creates love, He creates peace. He's not even a he, but, we're using language here. So it's creation. We've got to remember we're shifting into a creative mind, because as spirit, all we do is create love, peace, joy, happiness, right? That's it. That's all you're experiencing in heaven. Just simply without a body, you're just this beautiful love. Your creations are that, right? Your creations are the love and the peace and the joy, and they go in and out, and they come from God. They flow through you to yours, God. They go back to God. They go out. That's it. That's the best analogy you can have of how heaven works. It's a song of love and gratitude, and it's filled with joy, and it's filled with the most glorious, glorious love that you would never find here, right? So that's why we want to do this, because this is the practice that gets our mind above the battleground. It wipes out the ego, and it unifies our mind. It comes back to being creative. So now, Shannon, did you want to maybe read through? Do you want me to help you read through this first, and then you'll go back and do it? Okay.
Yes.
So we begin the practice periods with the instructions for today and say, to give and receive are one in truth. I will receive what I am giving now. Then close your eyes. So don't do this now because Shannon will be going through it. But the instructions are, we close our eyes and for 5 minutes think of what you would hold out to everyone to have it yours. You might, for instance, say, to everyone I offer quietness. To everyone I offer peace of mind. To everyone I offer gentleness. Shannon?
Thanks, Cate. And just remember, too, when he says, I will receive what I am giving now, if there's a part in the text where he talks about noticing if we're not in peace, if we're not peaceful. And he says, you just decided wrongly. And there's a little prayer there. And it starts with, I must have decided wrongly because I'm not at peace. And it's just like that. It's okay. I judge something or I attack something. Oops. It's not like a big deal, actually. It's like kind of like, all right, I can shift into this just by saying, oh, I made a little mistake. It's not like if we make it too big and insurmountable, that's like what the ego wants us to do. It wants us to make it like this thing that's like going to take years to forgive or something. But forgiveness is in a moment. It's in a holy instant, and it can, like Cate said, this is the answer. We can restore our mind to peace by just offering peace to others. Say each one slowly, and then pause a while, expecting to receive the gift you gave. And it will come to you in the amount in which you gave it. You will find you have exact return, for that is what you asked. It might be helpful, too, to think of one to whom to give your gifts. He represents the others, and through him, you give to all. And that's just the beauty of extension of love, is that it never ends. Okay.
Our very simple lesson for today will teach you much. Effect and cause will be far better understood from this time on. So when we go into this meditation, really, really validate for yourself, because no one can validate it for you. Shannon and I can say it, but you really want to validate it for yourself and practice it really sincerely, right? So that you can see that it works, and that's why you want to use it. And we will make much faster progress now. Think of the exercises for today as quick advances in your learning, made still faster and more sure each time you say, to give and receive are one in truth. So you're really validating, you're reminding yourself as you go on these quick advances, hang on, all I have to do is give God's love, give God's peace, give and do this exercise if you like, do the Christ blessing, whatever you like, we're giving it and receiving it. So here we go with the meditation. Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you, Cate. And just one thing in paragraph 10 before we get into the meditation. he says here, effect and cause will be far better understood. And it really is about what he's saying there, and what he means by that is that the cause is always in the mind. It's always in the mind, and the effect is out what we see. And so if we're looking at it at the effect and believing it's causing something, right? So like that person said something to me and I lost my peace because of it. That's never true. Cause is always in the mind. So like what we're seeing out here is always an indication of something that has gone awry in the mind. And so adjusting that cause and effect, reminding ourselves of that, and then allowing ourselves to just shift back into peace through this is always putting cause and effect in its right place, like he's saying here. Because if I'm giving peace, if I'm in peace in the mind and giving it, then I'm recognizing that that is the cause. I am the cause. The mind is the cause. So keep that in mind too as you're doing this, because it's really like I said at the beginning of this, we are powerful. We're not victims. We cannot be victims. We are powerful beyond measure. And so there is like the mind is the one that's powerful, the one mind that we are one in the unification, the idea of like being joined in that mind is what is powerful. And so when we are stepping into that and we're allowing ourselves to be that cause and letting the love of God, the peace of God to flow through us and just let it go out, never ending to each other. That's where all true healing is. All right, so I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already. We'll just go through this exercise now. Just settle in and get comfortable. Relax. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now just make a statement in your mind, affirm in your mind that Jesus tells me there is no delay in receiving what I give. Jesus tells me there is no delay in receiving what I give. I will allow this experience into my mind. Now repeat these words after me. To give and to receive are one in truth. I will receive what I am giving now. To everyone, I offer quietness. Now feel yourself giving that quietness to everyone. You can picture faces or areas or the whole world. Just feel yourself giving this beautiful, peaceful quietness to everyone. And while you're doing this, pay attention to how you're feeling. Can you feel this quietness coming to you at the same time? Expect to receive the gift you gave. To everyone, I offer quietness. To everyone, I offer gentleness. Again, feel yourself giving gentleness to everyone. And while you're doing this, pay attention to how you're feeling. To everyone, I offer gentleness. And just feel that gentleness and just give it to everyone. To everyone, I offer peace of mind. Again, feel yourself giving peace of mind to everyone. Remember, it will come to you in the amount in which you give it. To everyone, I offer peace of mind. Now let's take a few minutes and just see what else comes into your mind to offer others, to offer to everyone. And just say, to everyone I offer, and then whatever comes in, and just try it out and let Him lead the way. Now bring someone to your mind that you would like to give your gifts to. Picture them in front of you and just follow this same process. Just allow an image of them to come into your mind and say to you, and then say their name, I offer, and then whatever you'd like to offer, whether it be gentleness or peace of mind. And just feel yourself extending that to a specific person. Now allow the feeling of gentleness to come into your mind and into that area in your heart. Just feel gentleness, the softness of gentleness. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and offer gentleness to each other. Mhm. I hope you were able to experience all the beautiful gifts you are giving everyone and to really feel that giving and receiving are one in truth. To everyone, I offer gentleness. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cate. Did you want to say anything?
Thank you, Shannon. That was really beautiful. So, once again, just a reminder to validate that you're experiencing what you're giving. This is the way to remember this and do it more and more often. Keep giving away this peace to keep it within yourself. Keep extending God's love, the gentleness, the peace of mind. See the purity in our brother. See his sinlessness. These all go together to heal our mind back to the peace of God. They will work literally cleaning up this idea that I'm a body, that I'm vulnerable. It lifts us above all this. I am not a body. I am as God created me. I am spirit. And feel all these things working together to heal your mind back to the beautiful, infinite peace and tranquility of the beautiful mind of God that we're joined in. So thank you everyone today, and it was beautiful joining with you. I see only your holiness. I see your beautiful Christ pure self. And that's all I'm in relationship with you. The body I see as an image, but it's not described in any way. It's just purity. So validate that this works and use it as one of your forgiveness tools. And, it does work. I'm sure you're feeling much more peaceful, feeling that gentleness, feeling that expansive love, something different. And so it works. It works if you work it, as they say. Thank you, everyone. Blessings and love. I offer you gentleness. I offer you peace of mind. And I offer you God's love, infinite love. Thank you. Amen. Thank you, Shannon. See you next week, everyone.